President of Ward 88, and I am grateful for the Budget Committee for allowing me this opportunity to speak tonight. I am here to ask that the 2018 budget include the full funding requested for Transform TO, the city's climate action plan, which was unanimously adopted by Council in July. Currently, the $2.5 million required for the implementation of this plan in 2018 is not in the preliminary budget, but remains precariously on a list of new and enhanced programs whose funding is up for consideration. It shares company on this list with several excellent programs that were committed to by Council, but whose funding are likewise excluded from the preliminary budget. It is indeed laudable of Council to approve programs that tackle poverty and inequality, such as those that address homelessness and affordable housing, accessible and affordable transit, and public health initiatives, not to mention the poverty reduction strategy itself. However, it's inexplicable and unconscionable that these commitments have not been guaranteed any funding in the preliminary budget. Transform TO is an ambitious plan that will reduce Toronto's greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2050, and central to its design and implementation are the principles of equity, shared prosperity, and public health. This is suggested in the plan's full title, Transform TO, Climate Action for a Healthy, Equitable, and Prosperous Toronto. The ethical arguments for funding this plan are compelling, and rightly, they have already been spoken about at length. But this evening, I want to touch upon the financial argument for investing in Transform TO. As an elementary school teacher, I find economics and finance far from my area of expertise. But the financial case for Transform TO is so obvious that even I am comfortable to speak about it right now. The bottom line is that thanks to such things as job creation and energy savings, the plan will produce $14 for every dollar that the city invests in. The plan was launched a year ago, but it has already created impressive returns, even though it only received 1/5 of its requested funding in last year's budget. For instance, in 2017, the staff employed under Transform TO prepared proposals for 29 capital projects to be funded by the provincial government's Ontario Municipal Challenge Fund, which distributes money generated from, I believe, from the Cap and Trade program as part of the provincial climate action plan. These projects had a total value of $250 million. The likelihood of them receiving funds is greatly increased by being part of such a well-thought-out, comprehensive long-term plan, such as Transform TO. Another thing is the renewable energy infrastructures that's being installed on city facilities under this plan is another example of the immediate financial benefits being produced. Upon watching the subcommittee, one of the special budget committee meetings when the Transform TO people were speaking, we discovered, thanks to a question by Janet Davis, that these facilities are projected to create $3.8 million in revenue for the city in 2018. So, at $2.5 million, this budget request works out to a bit more than $1 for every Torontonian. Imagine climate action that you could purchase at a dollar store. So actually, let's just imagine this for a moment. For $1, the dollar store is selling a magical change purse that reduces the carbon pollution in the air while creating equity, prosperity, and improved public health. Doesn't that sound like a good investment? But wait, there's more. After you buy the purse, you discover that it comes with $14 inside. Wouldn't you tell your friends, and especially your fellow councillors, to invest in the Transform TO change purse? Of course you would. Perhaps my analogy for Transform TO change purse is a little simplistic, but that is only because the decision that it represents is so simple. Invest the $2.5 million needed for Transform TO because it makes both economic and ethical sense. Thank you.